Alright, here we are once again on the Healthy Hindustan series of Always Blame the Hormone. In continuation to understanding our hormones, here we are going to the first point of discussion through the women's life cycle of Always Blame the Hormone is the menstruation, the monthly menstrual cycle. If you all would have heard the previous slide that I was talking about, that was my chapter 1 where I just introduced the hormones. I'm going to do a quick run on them. Those are my 6 hormones: the FSH, estrogen, LH, progesterone, prolactin and androgens, and the cycle that goes on through the month. So when we talk of menstruation, there are 3 important factors in menstruation: the pre, the during and the post. It is during these 3 important time frame in a month when changes in the hormone quantity starts happening. Now, based on the quantity of a certain hormone, we land up seeing what are known as the PMS symptoms. The PMS symptoms and the PMS pattern is typically quite set for an individual. If you have been noting down or putting down the symptoms of your hormones on a monthly basis, you would observe that there is a pattern. Every month at a certain point, you must be observing something specific that gives you the hint. It could be anything. It could be from bloating to headache to discomfort to pain to absolute fatigue. And that might give you, okay, the trigger point that I assume my periods are coming, or they have already come, or probably that you are ovulating. So when we are looking at a PMS pattern, some of the most commonly observed symptoms are bloating, constipation, headache and fatigue. So when I talk about bloating, why would bloating happen? It's usually based on estrogen dominance, because estrogen can result into a lot of bloat that you can feel. You might even feel disturbed with the bloat. I have had clients who have 2 different wardrobes when they get their PMS symptoms and they get that kind of abdominal bloat. The second one is constipation. Usually when the LH is high, we don't know biochemically exactly why this happens, but when the LH levels are high, we usually observe there is a low GI transit. That means the food through the gastrointestinal tract flows very, very slowly. That could be one of the reasons of constipation, and maybe another reason why you might just feel full or gassy or absolute discomfort. While this happens, if a lot of people get this symptom and it is extremely obvious, usually it is followed by getting also diarrhea. So it is many times misunderstood as an irritable bowel syndrome, but it's actually more hormonal in nature that is happening due to the change in the hormone levels and not actually a weak gut. Then is headache. Hormonal headache is very, very, very common. Hormonal headaches can happen mostly when the prolactin goes off the roof. Also, the timing of checking that prolactin is very critical when you get these hormonal headaches. Typically, you will observe mid-cycle when you are ovulating, you start getting a headache. It could even be just few days before your cycle, you might observe a headache. But you know what? Over here, blame it on prolactin, because that's one of the reasons why you're getting a headache and also mood swings. And is fatigue. A lot of people bleed profusely. There is excessive clotting that happens, and just before or just the beginning of the period, you observe a complete dip in your energy level. So this was what the hormones are and why a certain thing is happening to you on a monthly basis. My third important factor was, how do I deal with this through nutrition? So when I'm coming to nutrition, it is going to be in 3 different factors: the pre, during and the post. One needs to understand that in order to regulate the hormones in your body, we need to work on foods that are regulatory, that is phytoestrogen in nature. So we usually do something that is known as seed cycling. Seed cycling is where the first 14 days you are consuming flax seeds and pumpkin seeds that work on your estrogen levels, and then is sunflower and sesame seeds that work on the progesterone level. This basically seed cycling is something that I do with people who have extremely high PMS symptoms. It is marginally effective. You might want to try it. There is no side effect to doing it. Try it for 3-4 months and see if it is helping you. The during. If you are someone who bleeds profusely and also has the issue of extreme fatigue or dip in energy, bring in some iron rich foods in your diet, the green leafy vegetables and the dates and the lean meats, egg yolks, etc. Make sure that you're eating some fiber rich foods as well, and make sure you are on a low sodium diet, because water retention is something that is very common, which could just be before or also during the period. It might just ease your bloat out of your system. And post, one needs to understand that post the period, all your hormones, the steroid hormones, are eventually metabolized and are neutralized by the liver. The liver is the organ that does this job. So it's very important to get onto a good detoxing diet towards the end, after the cycle is over. Give your liver a little bit of rest. Eat foods that are extremely hydrating. A list that I have put down over here: the melons, the oranges, tomatoes, lettuce, cucumbers. Hydrate yourself with coconut water, thin buttermilk through the day, and avoid any foods that can create a huge insulin spike. So in other words, foods that are high in glycemic index. Being on foods that are not high on glycemic index, giving that liver a little bit of rest. Post-menstrual cycle, the short idea is detox and consume a lot of anti-inflammatory food. So here we are at the end of explaining menstruation along with the various hormones and the highs and lows along with your symptoms. I hope this information is helpful. Don't forget to hashtag Healthy Hindustan and stay tuned, because we still have 4 more important life cycles to discuss on all about hormones.